It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Geddes Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the fall edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, the CEOs, the CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studio, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. We're also on YouTube if you want to follow along over there and see some videos. You can actually see what we look like and what the guests look like. And
nobody cares what we look like, Tom.
Just how we look sitting behind a microphone.
We look like two old fat guys sitting in front of a microphone, Tom.
Oh, you're not kidding. Yeah, so your back is not good today, huh?
It's when you get to be my age, Tom, just for no reason.
Yeah,
and a chiropractor said, well, you did. They tell you they'd redo the right act, but I got in my car. And I just got a back spasm. Yeah. So if you hear me go anytime, I choked down 73 Motrin a few minutes ago.
Very nice. Yeah.
So either my liver will die or I'll be better. But I'll take either one right now.
Going up the steps, my right knee, I don't have any knee problems so far as I know, right? So I was walking up the steps just today and my knee went out. So now I'm limping on my right side of my knee.
Well, welcome to the does everything hurt as much as it does on you as us show. Our audience, we'll have the audience call in and say, okay, what hurts today? And at 60 years old, we got a list, right?
You hear all those commercials about that Relief Factor. We might want to get like 10 bottles of it.
Maybe they'll just if you're listening, send us a gross, like a Costco quantity of Relief Factor.
We're going to have to start endorsing that. Look, we've got a great show for you. Hopefully our guests are in better shape than we are. First up, we're going to talk with Mark O'Donnell. He's the owner of Operations Excellence. Zana Gervais is the owner of the Salmon River Sports Shop. She's going to stop by and talk fishing. Heaven Longo is the marketing development manager at Contact Syracuse. We're going to talk with her. Christy Hall, clinical research coordinator at Velocity Clinical Research. Diane Kupperman is the president and CEO of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Vance Lederman is the senior VP of business operations and the CFO of The Crunch. We'll talk with him for a little while. Sean Dupree stops by again. He's the owner of Top Notch Roofing. And then we'll round things out with attorney John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Right now, it's our pleasure to bring on a new guest to the show, Mark O'Donnell, the owner of Operations Excellence. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Well, it's nice to meet you here for the first time.
Same here.
I think, unless you turn out to be no good.
No, he's smarter than he looks. Let's be honest.
Maybe or maybe not. I did spend over 4 hours on the golf course recently with Steve.
Oh, golly.
So we got in trouble once.
I'm surprised
we were on the tees and they're like, "Will you guys shut up and hit the golf ball?" We were having a good time. So how'd you get into the business? Where'd you come from?
So I've spent 35 plus years in the business world, undergraduate degree in industrial engineering from Syracuse University. Grew up here locally, went on in my 30s to get an MBA from Lemoyne College. It was basically transitioned out and downsized. Most recently was general manager at J.R. Clancy Wenker Corporation. Really spent the last 20 plus years of my career in leadership, executive leadership roles. So when I was downsized in my late 50s, and I just turned 60 this year too, so I totally understand the aches and pains things. I wasn't ready to retire, and so what do I want to do now when I grow up type of thing? And I really have always thought about consulting. And so I did some self-assessment, really some introspection, and came up with what makes me happiest, right? It came down to two things. The engineer in me loves to solve problems, And I've always been happiest when I've been able to help people reach their potential.
I thought hit a golf ball would be on that list, but okay, let's move on.
Well, that's third.
Okay.
That's third. You know, so that's what I do now, right? I help people and organizations, and I help people develop and reach their full potential.
What does that mean? That sounds like blah, 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 consulting, blah, blah, blah. And you didn't mean that.
No.
Rubber meets the road. Who do you help?
Yep.
And how do you do it?
Great questions. So, you know, first off, let's make it really simple. When I'm talking with potential clients, right, I really start asking somebody about their business, and people love to talk about themselves and their business. And what I'm listening for is, are they stuck? And if they're not direct about that, I will come out and ask that question pretty directly. You know, are you stuck? Are you unable to reach the goals and the desired results that you're looking for, right? And what's holding you back? And sometimes that takes a bit of digging, and it may take multiple discussions, multiple meetings. And really what it typically comes down to for most organizations is one of three things, or a combination of these three things. It's people, process, strategy, right? And whether it's, you know, I've got supervisors or potential supervisors that are high performers, and I know they could probably succeed the next level, but I've got to get them some additional development, right? Because most companies, myself included, right? One day I went from being an engineer to being a manager.
Is it mostly blue collar, or is it a mix?
It's a mix. It's a mix. Yeah. You know, so who do I help? It's really all kinds of organizations. My focus is predominantly on small to mid-sized companies. I mean, would I do business with major corporations? I'm not really inclined to say yes, but I would never say completely no. Yeah. But it really comes down to the folks that need my help, right? I mean, I want to work with people and need to work with people who are open-minded and can set aside their own ego, because sometimes it could come down to the leadership.
Isn't step one, you got to admit you have a problem?
Correct. Absolutely correct.
You know, I'm good, go away.
Right. Well, and that's typically, people ask me, what's the biggest barrier to landing clients, if you will? And it's not about the fees I charge, right? It is about hubris or ego, or sometimes I guess I look at it like there's a little bit of fear driving that, because I've sat in their chair longer than I've sat in the chair I'm sitting in now. And I understand for some of these people, their first thought is, if I bring somebody in from the outside, that's an admission that I don't know how to do what I'm supposed to do.
There was a news story during the week that talked about workers having a general malaise toward work. You know, people just not enjoying their jobs in general, low job satisfaction. And I think a lot of that is due to the whole pandemic thing too. And people reassessed and said, geez, do I really need to be in the office? What am I working for? You know, so do you experience a little of that?
Absolutely. It's one of the top things I hear from all clients and potential clients is, and it really kind of goes to this, is what I hear from the owners and the executives is, I'm struggling to retain and hire quality talent. Right. And it doesn't just go to money, right? I mean, people immediately go to the money side, because money, right? If you're just hiring people because of the money, those folks particularly are going to always find somebody who's going to pay more.
Absolutely.
Right.
So they're going to flame out sooner or later.
Right. They're the jumpers. Right. So it gets to culture, right? Why do people want to work someplace? And you hit it on the head, right? There were things already in the works with remote work, right? That was coming online before the pandemic.
Absolutely.
Right. But the pandemic just accelerated a lot of these trends. And also with that, you've got the baby boomers aging out, right? So the workforce has changed. So culture is a big part of what I do.
So if someone had a business and had the courage to say, you know what, I want to have a conversation with you, you know, and it doesn't mean they've hired you, but you know, because things need to change, they can get you at 480-5515.
Correct.
So 480-5515, operationsexcellence.com. Mark, so they can have a conversation, maybe start the process. And the one thing I wrote down here, it sounds like you're a doctor of business. You go in like, you know, can you write the script? Well, you know what? Here's what I see.
Right.
You know, and if you don't take the medicine or don't, you know, do the exercise, I can't help you. Right. But if you're willing to, I'll hold you accountable and encourage you and direct you. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's facilitation. Right. I think you got it.
Cool.
Good. Mark O'Donnell right there. Thank you very much, sir. And you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Coming up next, Zaina Gervais. She's the owner of the Salmon River Sports Shop. We're going to talk salmon and steelhead next on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. This is The Local Show. Thank you for tagging along. We appreciate you spending time with us on the weekend. Tom and Steve, as we crawl into fall.
Can't we make this like the early spring edition?
It's the early winter edition.
Feel better.
It's the early winter edition.
I love winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you do.
I'd rather be hit by a car. And I was hit by a car. Another day we'll share that story, yeah.
Some cross-country skiing this year. That's what you got to get into.
Not happening. Not happening.
Work those lungs out and keep the muscles loose.
No. Slide down the hill across from Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. Can't do that anymore.
Used to love that.
They really, everybody ruined everything.
I wish we had cell phones back then, because my grandfather used to take me over there all the time. I mean, really, from 7, 8 years old till I was probably 10, 11 years old.
I lived in Cicero. It took like a day to get there. At least it felt like it. But then you went down it twice, and your life was changed. It was amazing.
And now that I think about it, my grandfather must have been the age I am now. He must have been about 59 years old when he was taking me up and down that
How awesome is that?
And he, of course, he was a World War II vet and everything, and he didn't care.
Well, if there was an offense and they didn't ruin it, and you went too far, you would slide right into the parking lot of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan, Tom.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So if you need a mortgage, get it at Gettys. If you want to park some money in a CD, because the market, don't look.
Scary.
So guaranteed really good rates, good people, local. Get it at Gettys, GettysFederalSavingsLoan.com, Tom.
All right. New person on the show right now, Zana Gervais. No relation to Ricky?
No.
Okay. That'd be nice if you were, though, huh? That'd be a little extra coin.
I mean, it'd be a fun experience, I think.
Right. He'd be great to have at family parties and stuff like that. She's the owner of Salmon River Sports Shop. And I noticed that the website is different than your name, though. It's salmonhotline.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I went on that just to check that out. I also have a DJ company for 40-something years, and I've been up at that tailwater like 5 times this season.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like I'm living there. And then I just found out I have a wedding reception on New Year's Eve there as well. So
hey, Tom, you and Kelly want to come over on New Year's Eve?
No.
I can't say I didn't invite you.
Gotta work. But now that I know you, Zana, then now I can stop by. Now I know if I need to use a bathroom or something, I can come over.
She's right on the river, right in town.
Oh, yeah, right on the river.
Yeah, nice.
So how'd you get into the business?
That was my grandfather's. So he started it in 1972. And then my dad got it when he passed away. And a few years ago, my dad was going to sell the business, essentially. And I had a fancy job in the 401k and all the things you're supposed to have. And I was like, wow, this is really boring.
Were you in town with that fancy job or out of town?
No, out of town, over in Wisconsin. So
oh, golly. Yeah.
I called my dad and I was like, hey, I'm going to buy everything off of you and keep the store open. And he's like, oh, you have a really good job. Are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, well, I put my notice in and cashed in my 401k. So get on board because I'm already going. So.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
How many years ago was that?
4 years ago.
Do you have brothers and sisters? Do you share the workload?
They're all younger and they want nothing to do with this.
Oh,
They're tech kids.
Now my girls, I have 2 girls, and they didn't love fishing. Do you love fishing? Do you really have a enthusiasm for it?
Oh, I mean, I love fishing, but more than fishing, honestly, I love helping people catch fish because, obviously, this is a family business. I'm 3rd generation, which is a big deal. And I have people coming in that were my grandpa's customers when they were kids.
Right.
So now they're bringing their kids, and I get to be a part of that, which is really cool. Because I mean, Steve, you fish, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So. When you hook a salmon, you get
he doesn't know that feeling. Trust me.
Breaks off.
In theory,
make it a smallie or a walleye or a rock bass.
All right, well, you've heard stories from people that are better at fishing than you that have caught salmon.
Stop encouraging her.
That's better.
It's a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun, and it's something people can get out and share together.
And I've taught people to fish. I had a friend that came from India a bunch of years ago, and he's like, and I was like, Steve, show me. And I took him trout fishing over at 9 Mile. He got a fish. It was his eyes lit up.
Yes.
It was it was amazing, and it was fun.
Yeah.
They don't have fish in India?
What's that? No, they don't have brown trout in 9 Mile. And he never
Okay.
fished. And he was in Chennai. I know the city he's from, and you would not eat fish out of that river. Trust me, in India. So the business right there in Pulaski, right on the river. So this time of year, the salmon are running.
Oh, absolutely. This is prime time. Like Columbus weekend is usually the big weekend. So right now, I mean, we're in the thick of it.
Right.
Okay. So if someone wanted to learn to salmon fish, they could walk in and go, help me. Okay, drop a few $100, get whatever you got to get, and you could send them out the door and say, here, give it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you wouldn't treat them like subclass citizens. Like you don't look at people and go, oh, you don't know what you're doing, and talk down to them, right?
No, absolutely not. Everyone starts like it's an intimidating fishery to get out.
It really is, yeah.
So like I always want people to walk out more confident than when they came in. Like I've always operated under it's better to make a customer than a sale. Like
Oh, nice.
you can push a lot of product that's not going to work, but like I genuinely want people to catch fish. So like you come in, I'll help you get exactly what you need. And now you do catch a fish. Well, I mean, not
Yeah.
but like,
hey, come on! He's enjoying this way too much.
but for those that do catch fish, now they're coming back year after year. They're bringing their friends. They're having a good time.
You said so. Brad wandered in.
Yes.
To your place, and you helped Brad, the pole, the rod, the thing, and the whole deal, and he was all excited.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Do you have to have waiters?
You don't have to, but I mean, it's preferable.
It is, okay.
There's just not too many places to fish from shore,
from
so
shore,
it really opens up like.
I
where
prefer
you can go.
waitresses.
So all of that area behind the tailwater, because like sometimes before a gig, I'll be walking around in my tux and we'll walk.
Yeah, you want waiters?
Tux and waiters?
No, but we'll go down and watch the people fish because there's a lot of people, fishing. And is that their property? You can't fish back there, can you?
Correct.
Okay.
So there's only a couple places in the United States where you can privatize navigatable water, and the Salmon River happens to be one of them.
Oh.
We don't need to get into the politics of that, but it is able. Or a place where
there's a couple places up by Port Ontario. There's an unnamed person that has some space. That's what she was talking about.
Okay.
And apparently maybe there's a swatch of the tailwater that's the same.
I guess if you go there, like if you go and stay there, you can go fish there, right? So people probably do that on an annual basis.
Oh yeah, it's a big draw. Like people come back year after year.
Right. So also, do you smoke the fish? Do you clean the fish or any of that? Or just sell
there's
it?
cleaning stations that do a lot of stuff like that. It's
okay.
I've got my dad hat on. So it's my job to help people catch fish, which is why so one of my customers came in a couple weeks ago and he said, I call you dad. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, to my wife, I call you dad. You helped me catch my first salmon. So you're dad. And I was like, that's hilarious.
That has got to make you feel great.
It does. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you're respecting your dad, the legacy, third generation in the business, and you've taken that and that's got to be exciting for you.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's talk more fish here. So when the salmon start to, stop.
Spoken like a true fisherman, not at all. Go ahead, Tom. Tell us more.
A lot of my friends go up for steelhead. And now do you help people catch steelhead as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Salmon, steelhead, brown trout.
What is a steelhead, Tom?
It's just a large trout. It's
not wrong.
Not bad. Not bad.
No.
How did it get so large, Tom?
I don't know. They eat in the lake.
Look at that. Give him a prize.
And then they start coming up. Yeah. And they're not all beat up like a salmon, right?
No. The steelhead are actually sustaining life. The salmon, as soon as they hit the river, they've got a few weeks and then they're all going to be dead.
Yeah.
So they're just at the end of their life cycle. The steelhead will actually hold out in the river all winter long.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of me after marriage.
Yes. I'm just excited we didn't talk about Italy because she's Italian, you're Italian. Usually it drags us into this whole Sicilian thing, and we didn't have to go there. And our time's almost up. That's very exciting. SalmonHotline.com.
SalmonHotline.com.
To get the info right on the river. If someone wanted to call, are they going to have a chance getting through, or is it better for them just to walk in?
Just walk in.
Walk in right there in town, right on the river. Salmon River Sports. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Zaina.
Thank you.
And maybe she could help people make bacalao with the...
he can't help himself.
I had to throw in some more Italian stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Heaven Longo's coming up next. She's Italian too. Marketing and Development Manager at Contact Syracuse. Right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Hey, welcome back to The Local Show. We appreciate you spending some quality weekend time with us as your Halloween decorations
How do you know
go
it's
up.
Quality time? Tom, come on. People are poking around the garage. They're sorting their fishing lures. They dropped their wife off, and their wife ran into Wegmans because they didn't want to go in because they're a typical male that doesn't want to, that's...
Well, any time spent with you is quality time in my book.
Can I quote you?
No.
Okay.
Forget I even said that, folks. So tell me a little bit about Charlie's sale. He's got a Columbus Day sale?
Yeah, Mattress Makers over on Bridge Street, across from Henry Wilson Jewelers, across from Fleet Feet, right over there.
Right.
And the one across from Chick-fil-A and Cicero.
And actually, Chick-fil-A, did you know they're remodeling?
They are remodeling.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my mom
He's
told me
closed for like 2 months or something.
I don't know that it's 2 months.
A month at least?
It's a while. My mom goes, well, I went to Chick-fil-A. They're going to close. So I picked up 4 chicken soups and I put them in the freezer. So no lie. That's a true story.
But the other one's open and clay.
Yeah, but right. So
anyway, Charlie.
Well, they had a big sale on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And so normally you're buying from the factory. You can see where they're making. So normally it's half the price of going to the furniture stores or the Screaming Mattress stores and all this stuff. But then there's another 10% off.
Oh, wow.
So if you're thinking it's time to get a mattress, this weekend and then Monday too, go over to Mattress Makers. It's a good experience. There's no pressure. I mean, you've got mattresses there. I've got them there. But the factory right there on Bridge Street is Rock. You walk in, you go, oh, look, that's where they make them.
And if you're up in Cicero,
and then Cicero,
located,
everybody says factory outlet store. They are the only factory outlet store.
I mean, literally.
Because it comes up the road 4 miles.
Exactly.
But stop and see them. And Charlie and Carol, they're just really nice people. And you're not going to, there's not a special thing and there's no tricks or anything. So
mention Steve.
Mattress Makers. Go see our friends.
There you go. All right. We're going to talk with Heaven Longo right now. She's the marketing and development manager at Contact Syracuse. Is that the full name of the place? Contact Syracuse?
Contact Community Services.
Oh, golly. Contact Community. Let me write that down. Where's my pen here? Contact Community Services. All right. So
go ahead. So
you can't talk to a girl named Heaven without saying, what's the origin of your name?
I'm actually named Heaven Lee, so my middle name's Lee.
Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
Heaven Lee. Your parents had a sense of humor, huh?
Yes.
Or something. A sense of irony, I guess. Well, that's great. And you're kind of in a business where you are heavenly, right? You have to be, consultative and understand people's plight and all that kind of stuff. What did you do before you got into this business?
So I actually went to Newhouse. So I was at Newhouse for advertising for my master's, and that's kind of what I did before.
Wow, I hate those advertising people.
Oh, really?
I was there. You were probably there when they weren't on Waverly. When I went to school there, we were on Waverly Avenue.
They were in a cave when Tom went there. It was a long time ago.
Yes, we had tablets.
So what Contact Community Service, explain what that is, what they do. Explain the big picture for us.
So we've been around for 51 years. So we do a lot of different things. We are in the schools. We have counselors in 8 different Syracuse City school districts working on youth development programs, social and emotional regulation, mental health and substance abuse counseling. So that's kind of, the quick talk on what we do in the school districts. But we also have the crisis call center. So we answer calls for the contact hotline. And last year in 2020, we got 137 calls on that hotline.
Wow. So what is the nature of calls like that? Somebody calls the hotline. What's going on?
So it can be a crisis, but it also can just be, loneliness, needing someone to talk to, someone to explain kind of circumstances going on in their lives and, needing just someone to...
What's a crisis?
What's a crisis to me is going to be a crisis.
Right, but if someone
else,
is calling, me not balancing my checkbook might be a crisis, but it's not a crisis.
that's a 211 crisis. So that's putting you in connection with local resources and helping you find things that are local to you. So we took a lot of calls for taxes, things like that.
Oh, wow.
So there really is. She's being, it's legit.
I didn't say it wasn't legit. But this helps connect it.
No, I mean,
like someone in crisis is, thinking they want to hurt themselves. To me, that's thinking that.
And that's the way I am after spending a day with you.
I understand
that. I
that.
Call this line.
I get that. You should say that.
I think, if I recall, back when I was in full-time radio, back at WHEN, we used to have the contact line. This is the same organization, isn't it?
Yes.
Contact, yeah. And there was a woman there. I can't remember what her name was, but she was there for like 100 years. She must have been 90 years old.
She was an older woman.
She was an older woman, yeah. But she had been there very, very much associated with contact. And we used to run promos that would say, call contact if you're feeling this way, that way, or the other way. And that was back in the late 90s and, middle 80s, late 90s, that type of thing. So anyway, do you have, are you a counselor or are you just in marketing over there?
I'm in marketing.
Okay,
that's a lot of community outreach and talking to people. And we do a lot of tabling and outreach with that. And it's coming down to listening to different people's scenarios and finding them the resource that we have that can help them the most. So we answer all different sorts of calls. We have the contact hotline, which is for crisis and prevention, but we also answer the 988 suicide and crisis lifeline, which is a national 988 number. They took that big number for suicide prevention lifeline and condensed it to 988, just like 911, so that anyone can call 988 if they're in any sort of emotional crisis. Again, what's a crisis to me will not be a crisis to someone else, but even if you're struggling and just need someone to talk to.
So did I hear you say 988 is a someone, if someone is in an emotional crisis or thinking of hurting themselves or something in that scenario, there's someone there 24/7 that they can have a conversation with?
Yeah, completely free.
And they dial 988.
Yep.
Did you know that?
No,
I did not. So 911, we know 911.
Yeah.
Okay, we know what's the Verizon number when your phone doesn't work, whatever the heck it is.
I don't even know.
988 is I can talk to someone can talk to someone throughout the country at any time.
Yeah, it's going to route you to your nearest call center, which if you're in central or northern New York, it probably will be to contact. But if you call or text 988, you can be put in contact with a free confidential counselor.
And it's someone here then, you can speak with somebody locally?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're not like across the United States,
right?
That's kind of cool, and
no, because you see, there's certain hotlines if someone's going to hurt themselves, and they get like a 1-800 number. It sounds like it's on the moon, and why and what is it, and did it work, and did I dial it right? The simplicity of 988 is wonderful. How long has that been in effect?
That's been about a year.
Okay, because Tom knows everything, and he didn't know it.
No, I didn't. And you would think that this is important for people to know, and you probably, that's why you're on with us, and you probably do a lot of community outreach trying to get this word out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And it's such a great resource, especially for younger kids. Mm-hmm. You can text it. So if you're having a problem, if you just went through a breakup, if, you can text someone when your friends are asleep, when nobody else seems to be around, and you just need someone to vent to and to understand without, any judgment or...
Great. It's important to get that word out, and I hope we were able to do that. 988.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's amazing.
Heavenly Longo, right there. Yes. She's the marketing and development manager at Contact Community Service, right?
Yep.
And in Syracuse here. Thank you so much, and thank you for what all you guys do over there.
Thank you.
Okay. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Christy Hall, Steve. She's the clinical research coordinator at Velocity Clinical Research right here on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Gettys Federal Savings and Loan and Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found it, the place to be on the weekend. It's with Tom and Steve right here on The Local Show. We do appreciate you tagging along. Lots of interesting guests and things to do, and you get to hear all about Steve and Tom's stuff.
Yes, our aches and pains. It hurts when I do that. Well, don't do that.
Yes.
And again, just a reminder, if you're buying a mattress, go see Charlie.
Sure.
Because he's the guy in Carroll over on Bridge Street across from behind Henry Wilson Jewelers and the Chick-fil-A that's not opened.
Yeah.
How long is that going to be closed up there in Cicero?
I don't know. They're saying a couple of months. That's what I had heard.
They're doing a whole redo.
I said it didn't take them that long to build the place initially.
I know.
Right?
I know. It has to do with the flow because they have so much. They have such a big business.
We'll have to ask Jimmer what's going on.
Yeah, or my mom. She'll know.
Oh, yeah,
She knows everything.
She knows it all. Hey, it's our pleasure to bring on somebody new to the show. Her name is Christy Hall. She is a clinical research coordinator at Velocity Clinical Research. How are you, Christy?
I'm doing wonderfully today.
Well, it's good to have you.
Drive down from the North Country, and the leaves are beautiful.
Is that where you reside?
I live in the Pulaski area, but I drive into Syracuse. We work in East Syracuse at Brittenfield.
Oh, yeah. Very nice place over there.
It's a lovely drive down, and I don't miss having to go all the way into the city, which was what my former job was.
We just had the gal on who owns the sports shop out there. Zana. Yeah.
Right there in Pulaski.
So.
It is fishing season.
Yeah, it's fishing season out there, yeah. You're not kidding. So what is it that you actually do over there? Now, clinical research sounds very technical, very,
clinical.
Heady. Yeah.
Well,
what's your background?
I grew up here in Syracuse and worked at University Hospital for many years. And
are you a nurse or
no, I'm what's called a clinical research coordinator. So nobody's ever really heard of that.
Right.
You look that up in Wikipedia. Tom, in Wikipedia it says egghead. But go ahead.
So here's how I like to explain
Science stuff.
Maybe this won't work for your younger viewers, but if you've ever seen Julie on Love Boat,
yes,
her job was to make sure people got where they needed to be and had a good time.
Yes.
Well, with a research coordinator, our job is to find people that may be interested in participating, figure out if this is a good fit for them, and then help them get where they need to go, whether it's coming in for a screening visit, whether it's going for PET scans or MRIs.
Right.
Whether so I'm sort of like the coordinator for all.
So
of that
you're
such.
okay. That's because I'm thinking egghead science questions, and it's really the opposite. You have to get there, but you have to have the people to be able to help.
Absolutely, and the other thing is too. I mean, the science side is somebody has to collect all the data. They have to package and send out all the blood. If there's other sorts of samples. I do a lot of memory testing, and so when we do memory studies with people with Alzheimer's and mild cognitive
impairment.
Yep, I'm sorry, I'm losing those.
Sure.
Anyway, I'm the one that does a lot of those memory tests and such. So all of those results have to get collected and given back to the sponsor so it can get analyzed. Yeah. So I'm sort of the middleman for all that kind of thing.
Well, and there's got to be a certain drug that you're testing for. So like you can't. You're not doing all kinds of drugs.
I'm human. I only do one thing at a time. But at our research center at Velocity Clinical Research, what we do is we look at several different disease states and are testing different treatments and different therapies for several different things. We started out years ago as Clarity Clinical Research, and we focused on Alzheimer's and dementia studies, and that's still where our heart is, and we're still doing an awful lot of that. And yes, for younger and other people, we're doing amazing work with fatty liver disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, that sort of thing. We do a lot of community outreach by offering free baseline memory screening for people.
So that is
so that's the area. Like you're not looking for asthma drugs.
Well, we're not. What the way it works is companies or organizations or even the National Institutes on Aging, for instance, come to us and ask us if we will run some of their research studies.
So it could be anything.
It could be anything.
But it's been a lot of stuff in the memory camp.
In memory and, as I said, in fatty liver stuff. And so what happens is, I'm skeptical just like everybody else.
Sure.
They pay us to do this research. We hire our own doctors. We do our own physicals. We do our own EKGs. We do our own blood work. They may not like the results that we give them, but it's real and it's honest and it's us.
And it's objective third party.
Absolutely.
So it's not like a push pull.
No, not a bit.
Because some folks would say that. So if someone wanted to, why would someone want to participate in a clinical study? Because to me, it sounds like why would I want to do that?
Well, I guess there's personal reasons, and then there's being part of the human race.
Okay, so tell us both.
Any medicine that you ever took was part of a clinical research study, except for aspirin. Aspirin never really went through formal clinical trials.
And COVID.
Yeah.
Well, we've helped to run COVID vaccines too.
Okay, yeah.
But so anyone that's ever gotten a medication, somebody ahead of them went through and was part of a clinical trial to figure out if it worked.
Why would they do that? Are they doing it for the money? Are they doing it because they want to get healed? Are they doing it to help somebody else?
It's a little bit of everything. If we look at the Alzheimer's treatments that we're doing right now, the studies that we're doing, right now there's very, very little that's FDA approved that can actually slow down, stop, or reverse Alzheimer's. Some of the treatments that we're trying now are being part of the clinical trials gives you a shot and a chance to try some of these treatments that may never hit the market, or if they do, it's probably going to be 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now.
Right.
So being able to have a chance to try some of these medications or some of these other treatments now, because some people don't have 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
But do some people get a placebo?
Absolutely.
Well, then you'd be wasting your time. That's the problem I have.
Well, if there's no treatment now, so there's nothing you could do otherwise, then having the chance to try a medicine or do the placebo, you're not keeping yourself or your loved one from any other treatment because there isn't another treatment. That's why there's a placebo. So in other words, you could sit in your chair and do nothing. Or
Tom does that.
Or
I'm good at that.
You could sit in your chair and say, I'm going to give it a shot. And if I get the medication, it may really help. And if part of the way to figure out if it really helps or not is that some people don't get it.
So I'd be really bummed out if the person next to me was getting healed and I'd had the placebo. And wait a second.
You're bummed out anyway, Tom.
Well, some of the studies, one of the oral medications we're testing for Alzheimer's is testing actually 3 different doses. So that means you got a 75% chance of getting the real medication and a 25% of placebo.
So velocityclinical.com, people can find information about it. And also, you're speaking at the Living with Dementia conference that our friends at Senior Home Care, Sheila Ostrom, is involved in.
Absolutely.
And folks can register for that at SyracuseSenior.com if they have someone that has memory issues or someone that's in that space or they're trying to take care of that person or a professional. Go to that conference and you'll be there too. So thank you.
And if you've got a loved one that is 55 and older and wants to have some baseline memory screening, that's one of the things I do. I mean, everyone tells you to go other places, but come to us for memory screening.
Fabulous. Thank you, Christy, so much, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thanks very much.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to have conversations with Diane Kupperman. She's the president and CEO of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Vance Liederman is the senior VP of operations and the CFO of the Syracuse Crunch. Sean Dupree is the owner of Top Notch Roofing. And then we have attorney John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, all coming up in hour number 2 of the local show, which starts really soon. Stick around.
It's The Local Show on News Radio 570 WSYR, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Diane Kupperman, President and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation. Vance Liederman stops by. He's the Senior VP of Business Operations and CFO of the Syracuse Crunch. Sean Dupree, the owner of Top Notch Roofing, and attorney John Murphy, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, all join us on this hour number 2. So we ask that you stick around. And,
so Tom, did you close your pool yet?
I don't have a pool.
Oh, that's
Steve.
right. I forgot.
I have a patio.
That's right. That's right. I continue to forget.
I got the patio now.
Did you ever wanted a pool?
I've always wanted a pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, at the end of the season, it's not so much of a big deal, and I see what everybody has to go through, so I don't care now.
I gotta put the boat down.
Yes, put the boat down.
Which means I call 43 North and go, put the boat down. And then,
put it up and away.
I get the bill, but then it's like they do their thing. They put oil in places that it belongs.
Yeah.
They put a big wrapper over it and they stick it on the shelf. And then
that's it.
Come about middle of April, I'm like, hey, can you have that out there for walleye season? It opens. And they're like, okay.
When I was a boater, I'd go all the way up to the first snow. There were times when I was on Oneida Lake and the snow was coming down. It was a flurry. Yeah. I wanted to make use of it.
I'm a fair weather fisherman.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. You're fair weather, all right.
That's true.
All right. Diane Kupperman is here. She's the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation. How are you, Diane?
Good morning. I'm great. What better way to start the day than with you two?
We could make a list.
Yeah. There's probably a lot better ways, honestly. Look, for people who don't know you, how long have you been involved with the organization?
I have been involved for over 31 years now. It just boggles my mind every single day. And you know what? I love it even more every single day.
Yeah.
Just humbling to do what I get to do and meet the people I get to meet with and hang out with really cool, fun people like you.
You really are the
She's
face.
looking at me, Tom.
The face of. So tell people what the organization does and what it means to grant wishes.
We do one thing, and that is to create life-changing wishes for kids with critical illnesses. Mm-hmm. And we serve a 15-county footprint here in central New York. We came off a stellar year. September started our new fiscal year, and last year we granted a record 93 wishes.
Wow.
But of course, we have to do more. So this year we're looking at granting 96 wishes. And thankfully, we live in a community that is so generous, and they believe in the mission that we do and the impact that wishes have on kids. And so we have to raise a lot of money.
Go for 100. Come on. Just
well,
you're there.
That's
you're within striking
we're
distance.
Close.
Go for 100.
You got a few extra $100,000 for me, Steve? I will happily go for 100.
Well, Tom, if
he doesn't have a pool, so maybe he has a little extra money.
I don't even have a pool.
So is it the quantity of wishes? Fair question. Is it the dollars or is it the needs that are being fulfilled? Like if let's imagine somebody said, hey, you know what? I love what they do. Here's an extra $100,000. Does that mean more wishes, or is the process, you guys do such a thorough job, is it more complex than that?
You know what? It's a little more complex than that, and it really is about bandwidth. We employ 7 people right now in the organization, 2 of whom really are dedicated almost full time to granting those wishes. So it's our ability to do quality wishes in a time frame so the kids don't have to wait. But we also know we have to have the money in the bank to be able to say, let's do one more, We did one more last year. Our goal was 92. We did 93.
And that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. It's joyful work. It can be complicated. It can be as simple as, the wishes are simple because they're simply the heartfelt desire of the kid that we're serving.
Yeah.
And we treat those wishes one wish at a time.
Two wishes a week. That's really 2 wishes a week. That's a lot of wishes.
That is a lot of wishes. It's a lot of wishes. And of course, trips are a little bit easier to book than, say, doing a room renovation or putting in a pool or a backyard play set or waiting to meet a celebrity. So some of them are much more complicated. And then, of course, we work around the kids' treatment schedules, too, and that can throw a monkey wrench in sometimes.
Have you ever had to say no to a wish?
We have never said no to a wish. Now, we always take 3 wishes from the kids. Kids have always more than one wish. But in the event that their first, most heartfelt wish is not either medically appropriate or time's not on our side or it just is going to, we won't do one wish that will compromise any other wish. So if there was a wish that was going to be outrageously expensive, that might put at jeopardy all future wishes. So we always take more than one wish, but we have always been able to grant the wish of every child who's come through our door.
Even for celebrities?
For celebrities,
Really?
Sometimes there are celebrities that aren't available within a reasonable amount of time, and so we encourage the child to pick another wish, because the timing of the wish is really impactful as well. When a child is in the midst of their medical journey, that's when the hope and the impact of the wish have the greatest impact. So
how have wishes changed over the years? Like, I would imagine years ago things were more simplistic. Now things with technology,
the internet.
Yeah, and the internet.
I want to go to Bora Bora.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Why do you want to go to Bora Bora?
I saw a video on
picture
it.
Of it, right? And I'm, by the way, 4. So no, that's not going to happen. Certainly COVID changed a lot of things. And at that period of time, we could only do local tangible wishes.
Yes.
But now that North America travel's emerged, then we're able to pick flights back up. And travel's a big deal. Travel's a big deal. In fact, 75% of all of our wishes involve some sort of travel. If they're going to meet a celebrity, if they're going to a destination, if they want to visit grandma, airline miles is a really big deal for us. So one way we can save money, anybody has frequent flyer miles that they're not going to use, donate them to Make-A-Wish, because they're
cool.
Same as cash dust and they don't expire.
Can I volunteer somebody?
Sure.
So when they fly out, I'm going to volunteer my mom, because my mom is the lady that plays the organ at the airport. People are going out. If she knew a time and a place, she would love to, because my mom loves people. If they're going to Disney or what, she'll play.
Disney.
She would absolutely play by her. Give her a couple what she want, and she would make that part of the exit. I just know.
Let's get her contact information, because that's the little bit of magical touch that people like you can help us give to these kids. What a way to start your journey if you're going to Disney World to hear your favorite princess song being sung.
Correct.
Or played. Did she sing too, or just play?
No, let's not make her sing.
Steve tap dances.
Yeah, I can barely walk, Tom. So what do you got going on coming up?
Well, we have coming up the 32nd annual Ms. Orange Fan Luncheon. It was created 31 years ago by Coach Boeheim, and we are so thrilled and grateful to Coach Autry and his wife Andrea for continuing this legacy. This is coming up on Sunday, October 15th. We have extended the deadline to register for tables till October 9th. We had a little glitch with the online reservation site. So it's a wonderful event. It's a giant tailgate pep rally for the new coach, the new team, the new fiscal year. There's tons of things. Get to meet the players up close and personal. Wow. There's merchandise and baskets and raffles, and of course a special programming. And this event has been such a sustainable financial resource for us.
How can people get involved?
They can go to our website at wish.org/CNY and look for our events and get information about Ms. Morge. You can call our office at 315-475-WISH. We have no limit, which is nice. We're in the Dome this year. A new coach, new venue, new format.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of room for tables in the Dome.
You seem a little excited.
I am so excited. Are you excited? It's almost basketball season. Of course, we love the football team.
I was melancholy till you walk in. Now I'm all worked up. Tom, is it CNY Wish or is it Wish CNY?
So there's two ways it gets you to the same point. It's either cny.wish.org or wish.org/CNY. It'll take you right to the same place. Don't you love when things change like that?
I do. I absolutely do. So what an awesome thing to be involved in.
Is it only women can go?
It is the Ms. Orange Fan Luncheon, and it is an opportunity to meet the player, meet the coaches, and of course this event has helped us raise over $100,000 every year and $1.5 million since Coach Boeheim started. Coach Autry was a player at the very first Ms. Orange in 92.
And people can donate there too and get involved, and they will. Right, Tom?
Yes, okay. Diane Kupperman right there, President and CEO of Make-A-Wish Foundation. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Okay. Next up, Vance Lederman. He's the Senior VP in Business Operations and CFO of Syracuse Crunch. So stick around for that right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Geddes Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
All right, you found it, folks. It's the last bastion of great talk radio.
Last bastion. Every show, you got to say it, don't you?
Yes.
Is it in your notes?
No.
Or did you just
pulled it out of my butt one day.
You're just the last. I think
I do most of the things
bastions.
in my life.
There's lots of choices, and
Yes.
and they're listening to us. So thank you, listeners.
You go,
hey, suggestions, listeners. If you have businesses or organizations you want to hear, and you haven't, and you have some interest in that, feel free to fire us an email. You can fire it to me, Tom, because I'll return the email, not like you. Steve at Zoey Advertising. Any thoughts, concerns, ideas? Would love to hear from you.
About people to have on the show?
People to have on the show. You know,
I'll go you one better. How about people who want to be involved with Zoey Advertising?
Why
don't you send them an email so we can make payroll, please?
I like that. There is a misconception that somehow we're a local show, but that's it. You know,
right.
90% of our business, we are a marketing firm. We're an advertising firm. We do lots and lots of different things for lots of companies to help them grow. And 4 years ago, we said, why don't we do a radio show? And that thing grew.
Yeah,
and I will mention again, my friend Charlie, Mattress Makers, Tom.
Yes.
They have this big sale across from behind Henry Wilson Jewelers, Bridge Street, this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Another 10% off. You're buying from the factory or across the currently closed Chick-fil-A in Cicero. But if you don't want to be pressured, you don't want to. There's no big games and chaos. Go see our friends over there.
Gotcha. Vance Lederman's with us right now. He's a senior VP of Business Operations, CFO for the Crunch. You do it all, huh?
Good
You're the
morning.
man.
It seems that way. It just seems. I've been around since day one. And
have you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
golly.
And we're entering our season number 30.
No kidding.
Yeah, which our
Been
home
that
opener is October 14th. To think that I've made a second career out of hockey and living in Syracuse, being from Brooklyn and Long Island is pretty cool.
It's hard to tell.
Brooklyn.
You can hardly notice.
Hey, you know what? A tree grows in Brooklyn.
Does it?
Yes.
There's a lot more. Put it this way: there's a lot more trees in Brooklyn now than there were when I was a kid.
And you're also from Long Island, huh? Yeah, well, that's Brooklyn's part of Long Island.
Well, if you look at the map, it kind of goes from Brooklyn to Queens to Long Island. It seems like it's just one big island.
Thing. Yeah.
Yes.
My daughter dates a kid in East Islip in Long Island.
There's an airport there.
That was about 30, right. There was it's about 30 minutes from where I was.
Right. You got to go over that Throgs Neck Bridge there. That's fun.
I did it until back in the 80s where I was working. I lived on Long Island. The company I was working for was in Manhattan. And then they moved to Westchester. So I did the Throgs Neck Bridge every day for 5 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your support for Make-A-Wish. That's pretty special stuff.
Yeah, I've known Diane for years.
Yep.
She is just so passionate. And we're getting very much involved this year. I've just become a board member of Make-A-Wish. And my goal this year, as I told the board last week, is we want to raise enough money, and I believe we have the platform to do it, to grant one wish.
Nice.
That would be awesome.
I really think we're going to do it, and it's just to see the smiles on kids' faces. And we've had kids come to the rink for some wishes in the past, and just to see the smiles. And these kids are amazing. I mean, these kids are truly, truly amazing. In light of what they're going through, with the smiles, it's a pretty incredible experience.
It's a nice experience down at the Crunch. Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Can you make it two periods? 3 is just too much for hockey. Can't we just go 2? It can't be 2 halves. It just feels.
I think I'd have a problem with that one.
Okay, just saying.
I might have to get board approval.
Okay. Don't listen to
It's a big board.
And can the season be shorter than 13 months?
Well, it seems like it's longer than that for me, just so you know.
Tell me how you got involved with the business side of this sport. What did you do before you got involved with this company?
My background is financial.
Okay.
So I was actually, the company I was talking about before where I drove to was I was a treasurer for a steel company.
Okay.
Always loved hockey. The owner and I actually grew up together in Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we used to walk, believe it or not, and this is a fact, we used to walk to the first grade together.
Wow,
okay?
That's something.
Before school buses, I think, were invented. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
That's funny.
condensed version.
Yep.
We used to run all the time back in the day. We both lived on Long Island.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes from each other. One day we're running. He says, "If I ever buy a hockey team, would you want to get involved?" And I'm thinking, all right, what?
Yeah. What are the chances of that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to. I say, yeah, sure, whatever, Right. And then the following week, he calls me and says that we have a meeting up in Syracuse about maybe bringing a franchise there. And my first reaction, quite honestly, just so you know, was, well, I kind of heard of Syracuse, but where is it? Like, where exactly is it?
Isn't that funny that you didn't know where it was?
Because for us, growing up in Brooklyn, upstate is Westchester.
Yeah, right.
Which is like 90 minutes away. Okay, so
beyond that is Canada.
Really, exactly. So
crazy.
I was with him. We met for about a year before we officially got the team. We met with officials. We came up here once a month, trying to put a deal together. And in order for you to get into the league, to buy a franchise, you have to have an affiliation agreement with an NHL team, and you have to have a lease with a building.
Right.
So from the time we started the process until we finally got all that, it took us about a year to get all that done. Yeah. And we had a press conference in May of '94 to announce the team was coming, and 30 years later, we're still here, and I think our brand is as relevant now as it was 30 years ago.
It's amazing. Have you been to Crunch Games, Tom?
Yeah, and you know what? People, if you haven't been, you haven't been.
There we go.
You really got to go there, because I was up in one of the media boxes and just enjoyed it immensely. Fast-paced, colorful, lots of stuff going on at the War Memorial, and that room that we were up in, they were serving drinks and they had food and
my experience was a little different, Tom. I was in some cheap seats with a guy next to me that drank too much. But
with a Miller,
you don't know the right people. I don't know.
But that being said, it's an experience, and I'm not a fan of hockey. Okay,
right,
I am. I'm a fan of athletics. But when you're at a game, the speed, and it's just
the energy. It's a high energy.
It is nothing. Watch TV. It takes all the speed of it. There was energy there. The fans get involved. You guys have little giggly wigs between the things. And at one point, they were throwing stuffed animals on the ice. That was a promotion that they had, right?
Yeah.
One of our most popular promotions. So after we score a goal, our first goal, people throw their tired teddy bears onto the ice.
Nice.
And we collect them. We give them to Stanley Steamer, who cleans them, and he gives them out at the Christmas Bureau.
Oh, isn't that
holiday
That's
time.
the kind of fun community.
That's the kind of stuff we do.
So people they can buy tickets to go to single games, or I'm sure you have packets for season things and things like that?
Absolutely. We have all kinds of ticket packages for everybody's schedule, because we realize people are, really busy.
What about
and
if people
crazy.
want to bring a dozen people from a business? Do you do stuff like that?
100%, yes. Yes.
How's attendance been since after COVID now?
Well, I have to say last year was a bounce back year for us.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, we had 3 seasons impacted by COVID.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which it was a challenge.
Yeah.
It was a struggle. But, we're fighters. We're resilient.
Yes.
So, it's one thing for your business to be down X amount percent. It's another thing for you not to be able to do business.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to be able to help you in any way we can.
Yeah.
No project is too big. No fee is too big.
Yes.
Just get a hold of us.
And we appreciate that. And just want to say October 14th, home opener.
Yeah.
Against the Bridgeport Islanders, 7 o'clock.
Very
we have
nice.
some really cool festivities, to open up season number 30. And not only for the opener, but also all season long. We have some special moments.
Tom wants to sing the Star Spangled Banner. Go ahead, Tom.
Yes, I could. I could do that. Not now, but I will. All right. Hey, that's Vance Lederman right there. Thank you so much for being here, okay?
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Sean Dupree is up next, owner of Top Notch Roofing. Stick around right here on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
The local show is with you right now, and that means you're with us. So that's the way that works. And we are diving headlong into the fall season. I call this the pre-winter edition of the local show.
It hurts me so much.
The weather's been decent.
It has
until now.
It has been amazing. No complaints.
Who knows?
I just know what's destined.
Yeah,
As the Earth gets a little farther from the sun and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And then we get some cold weather, and then it comes back again. So,
I know. Do you like the snow at all?
I do to begin with. Yeah, I like a little crisp day and the snow when it's clean. It's. I don't like February. February and March just get. Ugh.
They do. It's like it just
goes on and
right?
on. Yeah, then it's bad. I don't like that. And I don't like severe cold, like when it gets down into 10 degrees and 12 and all that.
Yeah,
In fact, I'm not going to take any gigs this year. Boy, that was stupid.
In the winter?
Yeah, we did a couple in February last year, and it was one of those 10 degree, 12 degree days. I'm like, what are we doing?
I want to be in an airplane
ridiculous.
somewhere where they have to de-ice.
Yeah,
that's my that kind of day where I'm flying and de-ice. I'm like, I'm good with that.
Sure,
I know you're not. Tom,
where you're flying to go get on a boat.
Yes,
you're right. That's
bingo.
Nice. You got it. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's nice to have Sean Dupree back on our show. He is the owner of Top Notch Roofing. How are you, Sean?
I'm good, thanks.
So, what's your background, Sean? Are you a Syracuse native at all? Or?
Well, north of Syracuse.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up?
Paris, New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And do they have schools there? I can't remember.
I think I heard they got electricity and everything up to Oswego County.
We do have electricity.
Yes, that's very
We're
nice.
still walking to school though.
Yes.
Yes. They filmed Little House on the Prairie there.
They have a well.
We do have a well.
It's
very nice.
It's true, and you can go down the road and you can buy Amish pies and stuff at the corner. There's some advantages. A lot of snow.
We get a lot of snow. The last couple of years hasn't been bad though.
Right.
So, Sean, how long have you been in this roofing business?
Well, I started. I was probably 10, 11 years old when I started working in the construction industry.
Okay.
I started running roofing crews at the age of 17, and we've just expanded over the years, and now we're full blown roofing. We have crews that's all they do all day, every day.
Yeah. Roofing is a big deal in the Northeast, and especially here in Syracuse. Well, we were just talking about the snow, right? So, where is your footprint? Where do you go to do your jobs mainly?
Central New York.
Anywhere
in Central New York, Syracuse, Onondaga County, Oswego County, Oneida County.
Okay, you can't swing a hammer and not hit a roofing company.
You can't.
Okay, notice the hammer analogy, Tom. Did you like that?
Very good.
So, what's the differences? I mean, you guys all use shingles. You got guys on the roof. You all, I'm imagine most of you are insured, and you clip on, and you do all those things.
Right.
Are there real differences, or does it just boil down to price?
It boils down to price mostly. We use a system called Atlas Roofing System that's a little bit different than a lot of the other companies. A lot of companies use your different shingles. So with Atlas Roofing Systems, we have some pretty good warranty things that they offer as a company when you use their system as a whole. One of the big thing is they have a 25-year non-prorated warranty, and that covers your material and your labor.
So non-pro. So 20 years in, there's an issue. What another organization might do is go, well, you got 8/10 of your roof is gone, so then they give you a little bit of money to do it, as opposed to black and white. We'll fix it.
They cover the cost.
That's a big difference.
That's a big difference.
Okay, because prorated, you just lose, right?
Yep.
When you say it's a system, is it a different way that the shingles lock in? Is it still asbestos, or is it not asbestos? Or,
asbestos was asbestos, Tom.
Yeah. No, what I mean by system is we use all the Atlas products. We use the Atlas ice and water, synthetic
membrane
paper, and they're all the ridged and vent caps.
I see. Okay.
It's a 5-part system that you use.
Anybody still use metal roofs? Is that a thing?
It is a thing. Yeah. It is a thing.
Why would someone want to? I mean, I look and you got shingles that eventually can blow off or flop off or rot off, and then you have metal. But metal's loud, right?
Metal is loud. And people do also have issues with reception, cell phone reception, and whatnot with metal roofing. So
you don't get into that.
We do. We will do metal roofing. It's not what we really specialize in. We prefer to do asphalt shingles.
Asphalt. That's right. It's not asbestos. I'm sorry.
No, I like to. That's why I cracked asbestos.
I honestly thought it was asbestos.
That's why I'm like,
asphalt,
asbestos is bestest.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you have the architectural type? That
yes,
looks really pretty.
Yep, it's all architectural in a wide range of colors. You can get blues or black, different black shades of black, grays, greens. There's a lot of colors.
How late in the season before the snow flies, or do you
Is he a weatherman, Tom? What are you asking?
How late in the season will you apply a roof?
Oh, apply a roof.
Well, it comes down to really a judgment. You can put shingled roofs on all winter. We did my roof on my house in February last year.
Oh wow, yeah.
It comes down to really a judgment call, just to make sure you get a warm day in there shortly after the application to make sure that the seal strips all adhere properly.
Yeah. What's the biggest mistake people make when shopping for a roof?
Paying too much.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So are there people that do it poorly? And I don't mean, I'm not trying to pick on anybody. Are there places where you go by and go, oh my gosh, really? They did it? Where someone that's more a craftsman goes, oh, they're going to have a problem in a few years because of this or that or something that you see?
No, I can't say that I could spot something like that from just looking at it driving by from the ground.
Yeah.
We have a lot of reputable roofing companies in Syracuse.
Okay, good.
And I wouldn't say that one company's application is better than the other. We all have our own little things that are different.
Right.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that one would stand out to be not as good as the others. We're all professionals. And we all respect what we do.
That's great. Has the price of plywood really affected the way you have to price jobs?
Absolutely. The cost of plywood, the cost of the shingles themselves.
Has it gone up? Did it come back down?
Very little. It has come. It's a very little decrease since it skyrocketed a year ago.
Right. Does Top Notch Roofing make a mess? Because Tom, sometimes you'll see somebody get a roof and you're like, holy smokes! And they got the tarps and they got the dumpsters and they got guys and I'm seeing nails. And I just imagine that that's important to people to not make a disastrous mess.
It is important to people. What you really try to do is protect their landscaping, and when you're done, make sure everything's cleaned up. So what we do is we actually attach tarps to the roof line, and then we drape the tarps out into the yard so that all that debris that comes down off the roof slides past all the debris, all the landscaping.
So it doesn't even have a shot of hitting the yard.
That's what we plan for, and that's how we try to execute it.
Yeah. How long does a roofing job take typically?
Typically 1 day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That fast? Well, geez, there was people behind me that it was like the whole summer they were getting a roof.
Are those the people with the pool, Tom?
Yeah, they are, as a matter of fact. They must have got an influx of cash.
Yeah. So best way to connect with you, Top Notch Roofing, CNY.com?
Yes, or by phone.
Okay, what's that phone number?
315-247-0628.
So you can get it's not too late to get a quote, right?
Absolutely not.
So you can call 247-0628. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's in 315, Tom. That's the big one.
The big area.
The big one. 247-0628. Top Notch Roofing, CNY. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You got it. There you go. Sean Dupree right there. Attorney John Murphy is going to stop by next. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Interesting conversations with him coming up on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
Welcome back to The Local Show, a service of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and Gettys Federal Savings and Loan. The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in Central New York. The Local Show, locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now, here are your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Thank you for joining us on The Local Show, carving out a little time on your weekend to spend with Steve and I, because we know you have nothing better to do.
Well, it's the Columbus Day weekend. Can I say that, Tom?
No, you can't.
I didn't say that. It's not Columbus Day weekend.
That horrible butcher.
Yes, you can't say that. But
whatever.
But Charlie is selling mattresses to celebrate.
Yes, you mentioned that before.
Yes. So this weekend and Monday, mattress makers on Bread Street across from behind Henry Wilson Jewelers. And across from the broken Chick-fil-A in Cicero.
He custom makes those things, and I know that he had told me that you wanted extra room in yours because that's where you stuff your money.
It is right. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
I think that's kind of cool. Yeah. Well, it's great to bring Attorney John Murphy back on the show. He hasn't been on in a little while. Owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. How are you, my friend?
Good. I had to use Google to find my way here.
I know it's been that
was 12 pounds ago, wasn't it, John?
Golly. You got to check out the YouTube channel because he is fit as a fiddle.
He is on a fitness thing. Yeah. He's making you and I look bad, Tom.
I know.
We need help.
It's like it's Thin Lizzy as opposed to Oliver and Hardy here.
Okay. Who's who?
I don't know. I'm definitely the big guy. I can't remember who the fatter guy was.
So, what's new, wild, and exciting in the estate planning law world?
There's never a week maybe that goes by that we don't get somebody calling us with a crazy fact pattern that could have been easily remedied with some advanced planning.
Right.
People often ask, well, I don't need a will. I'm X years old. And, you never need a will until you do, right?
Yeah,
you never need the brakes on your car until you do.
Right.
Or an airbag until you do, and then it's too late. So, man and woman, they were together, partners, not married. They had a couple kids, and house was in his name, mortgages in both names, no will, and he died suddenly, very early, like in his early 30s.
Oh, wow.
Leaving as his only heirs his two minor children. Not his girlfriend.
Right.
Not married. Could have taken care of that with a will. Said I leave my house to my girlfriend.
Right.
But didn't. So now we have to go through the process of probating the will, or probating an estate administration, okay, where the girlfriend does not have any rights to run the estate because she's not related to him.
Okay.
Right.
So his mother's going to do that. Fortunately, there's a good relationship among everybody. And then we need to get someone appointed as the guardian over the house because the two minor children are inheriting the house.
Okay.
Oh, they are?
Because they are his heirs.
Right.
They're his only heirs. Right? He could have said, no, I leave it in a will. I leave it to my girlfriend. Right? Who's the mother of his children. That would have been a natural thing. Right? But he was young, healthy, didn't think he needed to do a will. So it is never too ery to do.
Is it ever too late?
Yeah, this guy would have been too late.
A little late now.
Right?
Or do some people just do it wrong?
Yes. And they do. And, there's a lot of things. Anything that you do, as you concentrate more in that area, you become more aware of things that you absolutely should be doing that you didn't even consider when you only did a little bit. Right? There's the surface. And then, we're like the ducks, right, of the iceberg. And 90% of what we do is under the surface. Client might say, well, a will is a will is a will. Yeah, it's not, okay? A trust is a trust is a trust. I can't tell you how many different types of trusts there are. There's probably 30 or 40 different types, depending on what
so
you
want to do.
So you
can tell us.
Yeah.
What's the wrong kind of trust?
There's never really a wrong kind. It depends on what your goals are. However, people get confused. They say, I have a trust, so my assets are protected from long-term care. Maybe not, right? Because if you have a trust that is revocable, then your assets are not protected. We have to undo one some folks did in 2014 that was an irrevocable trust. So that's a good start. They want to protect their home and savings from long-term care. However, the trust says that with the consent of an independent trustee, they can be given both income and principal from the trust as much or little as the trustee says.
Is that legal?
Well, it's legal. It's just not going to protect you from Medicaid.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, and our clients, smartly so, shortly after they got the trust, wrote a letter to this attorney, said, hey, we're worried that this doesn't protect from Medicaid. And the attorney wrote back and said, no, it does, because you're not giving the money, somebody else is. That's not the standard for Medicaid.
Right.
It might be the standard for, a normal creditor.
Sure.
But not for Medicaid. The Medicaid standard is if there is any scenario under which the rules of the trust you could be given principal, all of the trust is available to pay for nursing home.
Okay. So what if someone didn't plan properly, and they call 1-800, call a lawyer to fix this thing?
There's a lot of online people nowadays,
or whatever, and they say, hey, mom looks like mom's going in long-term care, and the firm says, well, you should have done it 5 years ago. What would you say to someone that might give that answer?
Well, we're doing that person's planning now.
Oh, tell me more. Okay.
So I just did some work for somebody. He said, I have to tell you the story. I said, okay. He said, when mom first went in a nursing home, I called, somebody in the area.
Yep.
And I said, mom's in a nursing home, went through the whole thing. And they said, oh, you didn't plan 5 years ago. There's nothing we can do. That's almost never the case, right? There's almost always something that we can do. You just have to position things correctly.
Yeah.
Generally, even if you're a single person, we can save at least half.
Okay.
We have some folks in now who did no planning. Wife is going to need some help, and we're going to be able to save far more money than they ever thought was possible. Pretty much everything except maybe her Social Security.
Is there any short-sightedness when people say, oh, I don't know your fees, but let's say it costs me $5,000 to do all this stuff. I don't want to spend that much on a lawyer, but a nursing home's how much?
Nursing homes on average are about $15,000, $16,000 a month in central New York. The issue, Steve, is nobody you talk to, nobody I talk to, is planning on going into a nursing home, right? Not going to happen to them.
Well, it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah, it's going to happen to somebody else, right?
Well, we're going to lock you away.
Statistically, 70% of seniors will need nursing home care at some time in their life. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there listening, if you're married, look at your wife, look at a sibling. Two of you are going to need long-term care.
Kind of scary.
Very, very scary. And sometimes as I'm going in for rehab, I had a knee surgery or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's getting less and less now that, they're sending you home directly. But what happens is the intention is to come home, but you get pneumonia, especially older folks. They just say, I don't want to do this. It's too hard. I'm 80-something. Why am I working this hard? I'm not going to do it. Mm-hmm. And then you don't make the progress you need, and you wind up staying at home.
So folks can call with questions, talk to you, or talk to one of the case managers.
I know talk to a case manager
fabulous.
First. Yeah.
And they'll answer questions, like how much it costs, what do we do, what do you suggest, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
370-9977. That's in area code 315, Tom?
That's the big one, Steve.
370-9977. John Murphy from Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. Put a .com if you want to look it up.
Yeah, give us a call. Talk to one of my case managers. They're going to help you tremendously.
Great. Steve, that's going to wrap up the local show. That means you can go home and get out of my hair. On behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Take a walk today and every day with a friend or family member. It keeps the weight down and that mind clear. Maybe I should take 3 walks, come to think of it.
Yes.
The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1 and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR, 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising 3809.